With us on the dais now is Memphis coach Penny Hardaway. Coach, welcome to Portland. Any opening statement you'd like to make?
I'm just happy to be here. Thanks for having us, and we're excited.
All right, we'll open it up to questions. We'll begin right here in front.
Penny, Jason Munns with the Commercial Appeal. You seem in much better spirits than the last time we saw you. So is that what have the last couple of days been like for you? Are you kind of setting in that you're here after 4 years? You're here now.
Yeah, but the competitive side of me wanted to win the conference championship. It was kind of a bittersweet day because we didn't win, but we also got selected. The next day, I had forgotten about the conference championship and was thankful to even be here. You out of all people know how far we've come to even be in this position. And yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm taking it all in.
Cassie Carlson, Action News 5 in Memphis. Penny, what's the anticipation like as a coach leading into your first game compared to what it was as a player in the tournament?
It's kind of similar. I mean, obviously when I was a player, I knew I had to do so much more on the court. For me, the preparation is still the same because I have to prepare my team. Being the point guard or the guard on the team or the better player, the best player on my team, just kind of preparing my mind for different scenarios, different situations. Not trying to overthink it because, it's still a basketball game, but also to be prepared like I was when I was a player. So I've watched 6 games of Boise and just trying to get everything in my mind so when the game starts, it'll just be kind of staying on my brain.
Penny, Brian Hamilton from The Athletic. Where do you see the biggest growth in Jalen as a player from when he stepped in the door last summer to where he is now?
I think the biggest growth for him is his respect for how hard it is on this level. I think when he came in, he felt like it had been so easy for him in high school that he thought it was going to be easy on this side of the ball, but it hadn't been early, and he's respected it a lot more, had more respect, and he's taken it more serious than he ever has because more than a couple guys have surprised him this year that he played against that didn't have big names, and that made him think, hey, man, this level is a lot harder than I think it was going to be. I got to get in the weight room more. I got to start watching film more. I got to work on my game more because my normal game that I brought in is just not going to be enough. So his growth has come because of all those things.
Jay?
Jay Tuss, KTVB Boise. Penny, when you look at Boise State's roster, they're a very experienced team. They've been really good in close games this season. From what you've seen, why do you think they've had success in those moments? Toughness
and chemistry. I think they believe in one another. They have a great system. They run it like a well-oiled machine. And their toughness. I think they get gritty when it gets down, to the last parts of the game. They don't give up anything easy on defense, and then they create plays for each other on offense.
Bob Beeler, Bronco Radio Network, wanted to know what you thought of both your team and their team. You faced each other in the NIT last year. You're obviously both better this year because you're in this tournament. So where do you think you guys are better, and where do you think they're better?
I think we're better because of the run we made. Obviously, we had more promise earlier in the season and didn't live up to the billing like we should have and had to take a harder route. Boise played phenomenal to me all season, won the conference championship and the regular season championship. So they're different because now they're champions coming into the NCAA. So for us, with us winning 12 out of 14, with them winning both, the confidence is high in both teams.
In the back?
Orlando Sanchez, KGW-TV here in Portland. Coach, from a local perspective, just your initial thoughts on being here in Portland, wondering if you have any memories from your playing days or working with Nike on Portland in general.
Well, obviously, if you know my history in the NBA, just Nike is so instrumental in my career with Little Penny and having my own signature shoe line. So I've always loved coming to Portland to go to the Nike meetings, obviously to play against the Trailblazers, which was always hard to do. And then I just remember that long flight to get here. But once I got here, man, the beauty of the city is unreal. So I've always loved coming here.
In the back? Go ahead.
Penny, Stephen Johnson, Daily Memphian. I see you brought Imani and the rest of the red shirts on the trip. Is there any chance we could see him playing tomorrow?
I don't know. To be very honest with you, I told the media a long time ago that we didn't know what would happen. We brought everybody because it's an experience that everybody should be a part of, especially the guys that are going to come back next year. You get here, you feel it, you see it, and when you get into June, guys start believing and understanding what it takes to get here because this is a beautiful thing. So we wanted everyone to experience it.
Microphone up front.
Yeah, Penny, Boise Sports Talk Radio, John Mallory. Have you the advantages, I'm sure there are many with having Larry Brown on your staff, just the legend and savant he is. Where has he helped you most as a coach?
He's helped me in a lot of areas, obviously with early offense, just ideas on early offense, believing in my values and just make sure I hammer those in and don't ever go away from those. How to handle the shoot-arounds, what to really focus on, what are we running on makes, what are we running on misses, how to get into pressure different ways without letting people see the pressure coming, and just talking about just years and years of he's been in every scenario in a game that you can imagine. Just being over on the bench in different scenarios, just having him there to just bounce things off of during the timeouts.
Mark Giannotto from the Commercial Appeal. Going back to that answer you gave to Steven, does that mean there's a possibility Amani could return tomorrow?
I mean, he hadn't played, so I don't know. You know what I mean? He's here, and he's been practicing some, but has never played. Like, come back to see how his back feels. This has been going on for like 4 weeks, 5 weeks. So he came on a trip just like everyone else, and we just don't know.
And then just in general, because this is the first time for, I think everyone but Chandler has never played in an NCAA tournament game before. Just dealing with the nerves, anticipation of a big game. You've played in a lot of big games. What will you tell them ahead of this to kind of, to make sure they're playing, their best?
I would just say let your defense travels. You don't have to have nerves with defense and rebounding. I think that the offensive side of the ball brings the nerves, but I think if you just continue to believe in the game plan discipline of who we are, our identity, then nerves will be there, but they will surely go away as soon as the game starts, as long as you believe in that. That'll help.
Jeff Calkins from the Daily Memphian, Penny over here. Ayla, when he was up here, talked about watching the Tigers when he was a little kid and their tournament runs. I presume you watched the Tigers on their tournament runs. What's it mean to be able to deliver that kind of a day to the city again after all this time?
It means a lot, because I remember when I was in elementary school, the teacher just wheeling in the TV and turning the tube on and us watching the NCAA tournament. So to be able to give that to the kids back home and to the city back home it's a dream come true, to be honest, because I know how big it is when the Tigers are playing in the NCAA tournament and how the city is all tuned in. They're all tuned in.
Jay.
Jay Tess, KTVB Boise. Penny, when you look at last year's matchup, there's a lot of similar pieces for Boise State. One big difference, though, is the presence of Abu Kijab, number 24 for the
Yes.
Broncos. What do you think of him as a player, and maybe also his instincts as well?
Yeah, amazing. Just watching the games, because I didn't watch Boise a lot this season. I knew they were playing really well, and I knew they were good from last year, but I didn't know that they had added him. And, man, the plays that he's made, playing the passing lanes, the drives, the energy, the timely plays, the timely offensive rebounds, his athleticism, his speed, he's a force to be reckoned with. I have a lot of respect for him. I appreciate guys that just go out and leave it on the floor, and that's what he does.
Steven Johnson, Daily Memphian. Ayla was up here earlier, and he said Willie Kemp kind of helped bring the team together. They spent a lot of time at his house and things like that. What impact has he kind of made on the players, and was that kind of why you brought him on earlier this year?
Yeah, I think the impact that he's made is because he was on the team that played in the Final Four and in the finals against Kansas. He was the starting point guard. He's from the Bolivar area, which is only like an hour outside of the city, so he can kind of have some similarities there from being like almost a local kid that understands what it means to be from the area and then take your team into the NCAA tournament. And then he's just a great guy that bleeds blue. So he's always going to be positive with the guys, and that is one of the reasons why I brought him back, because he's a former player. He started on one of the better teams that ever played in school history, and he's been here.
In the back?
Penny, over here. Tim Booth from the Associated Press. You talked about what it means to the community. I'm wondering, does it feel different as a coach taking a team to a tournament versus going as a player? And do you have a memory that sort of stands out from your opportunity to play in the tournament as a player?
Yeah, it's different as a player than as a coach, because that's your job, to get the team to the NCAA tournament as a coach. As a player, you're just playing, you're fighting hard for every game, for every win, and when you get there, you're like, okay, let's go out here and win as a team. As a coach, you're building your entire team around getting here. And that's the difference. And my fondest memory is going to the Elite Eight in my first year as a sophomore playing in the NCAA tournament. We played Pepperdine, Arkansas, and Georgia Tech, and beat those 3 teams. So that was one of the most funnest times I've ever had as a basketball player, including NBA, going on that run.
Penny, Brian Hamilton from The Athletic again. You kind of mentioned before with Jalen, he had those sort of aha moments, the reality checks. What were those moments that stood out to you where he kind of, that changed his mentality? Like you said, he knew he had to do a little more.
Yeah, I think early on, not taking the pick and roll defenses seriously, not studying enough his opponent, just trying to go in the game and make it up on the fly, not running the court, just kind of jogging down the floor and not being. Just now, he sprints down the court. He studies more film. In the pick and roll, he knows how important that is now on this level. Whatever we need him to do, he does it at a high level. And just that's the maturation phase of where he's come from to where he is now, because he wasn't doing that early on.
Let me just double check real quick, make sure we don't have any questions from our Zoom audience. If you have a question, raise your hand. Nobody's raising their hand. Go ahead.
Mark Giannotto from the Commercial Appeal again. Landers and Tyler didn't shoot the ball particularly well in Fort Worth. Did you see anything there? Were they getting the type of looks they were getting when they were shooting well and it just didn't go in? Is there anything needs to be adjusted? What did you make of their shooting struggles in Fort Worth?
Yeah, I think it's just what it was, shooting struggles. And, they got the shots that they wanted. They just didn't knock them down. Those are the same shots that they've knocked down in the past. Obviously, you know that. And we do believe in their shooting. We're going to try to continue to get those guys shots. And, I like my chances when they get looks at the basket.
Jay Tuss, KTVB again. Penny, when it comes to Boise State's rebounding tenacity, if you will, how would you describe it, and maybe in particular their effectiveness on the offensive boards at times?
Yeah, I would just say fierce. The big fella, he gets in there and starts wedging people, and then the other guys just crash in there. We're used to that because we played against Houston, and that's what they do. It's almost like they're mimicking that, which isn't a bad thing because they believe in crashing the glass, and they're reckless. They're just going to go in there and throw their bodies, all over the place to try to get action on the ball, and that's something that you have to do to be successful on this level. You got to rebound the basketball on both ends.
This will be our last question.
Jason Munn's Commercial Appeal. Have you had any, maybe this will come later, but any flashbacks to your previous experiences in the NCAA tournament? I know it was when you were a player and all that, but are you having any, are any memories coming back to you about your time, your experiences in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, we came out my first year and did some things that a lot of people didn't think that we could do by beating those 3 teams that I mentioned earlier. And then the next year, we came in as a higher seed and we lost to Western Kentucky. We just didn't take that round as serious. So my experiences of going in as a sophomore and not expecting anything and just going to play hard got us to the Elite 8. Coming in the following year, expecting to win and beating the teams, got us a loss. So you can't be too high, you can't be too low. You have to be even keel in this thing, and my experiences taught me that.
All right, a reminder, the recording of this press conference and the last press conference will be available in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at www.ncaa.verit1.com, and transcripts are going to be provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly.